I welcome you to my channel. Subscribe and listen to my new stories every day. The clock ticks softly in the background as I sit at my desk, the rhythmic sound mingling with the hum of office chatter. It's a typical Tuesday afternoon, the kind that lulls you into a false sense of security. I glance at my computer screen, pretending to focus, but my mind drifts to Laura, my wife. She hasn't been herself lately, her laughter dimmed, her smile fading. I shake my head, pushing away the nagging doubts. "Hey, Mark, you seen Laura?" Jake, my colleague, leans against the cubicle wall, his brow furrowed in concern. "I haven't seen her in a while." I shrug, trying to maintain a casual tone. "No, she said she had some meetings today. You know how it is." But even as I speak, a strange unease coils in my stomach. Laura's work schedule has been erratic, and the late nights have become more frequent. I chalk it up to stress. She's always been the one juggling deadlines and responsibilities, but lately, she's seemed distracted. Minutes turn into hours, and I decide to grab a coffee, hoping the caffeine will shake off the creeping anxiety. As I make my way to the break room, I overhear muffled voices coming from the back room, a space we rarely use. It's supposed to be storage for old office supplies, yet something about the intensity of the conversation pulls me closer. "Come on, Laura, just one more time," a male voice pleads, laced with urgency. I freeze, my heart racing. That voice, it can't be. I creep closer, my breath hitching in my throat. As I lean against the doorframe, I catch sight of her through the narrow window in the door, Laura, my wife, tangled in the arms of the janitor, a man I barely know. They're lost in their own world, oblivious to the reality outside. My chest tightens as I watch him, his hands roaming freely over her body, her eyes closed in sheer ecstasy. The door suddenly shudders, and I can see their silhouettes pressed against it, the sound of splintering wood making my heart drop. I step back, instinctively wanting to run, but the image is burned into my mind. Betrayal hits like a physical blow. "Laura." I manage to choke out, but my voice barely escapes as the door bursts open, the janitor stumbling back, shock etched across his face. Laura whips around, her eyes widening in horror as they meet mine. The moment stretches, silence enveloping us all. "What are you doing here?" she stammers, attempting to gather her composure, but the shame and guilt are visible in her flushed cheeks. I laugh bitterly, the sound harsh and empty. "I could ask you the same thing." Jake's voice breaks the tension as he appears behind me, confusion plastered across his features. "What the hell is going on?" I can't take my eyes off Laura. "You've been cheating on me with him." I gesture toward the janitor, fury bubbling beneath the surface. "Mark, Laura starts, but the words die in her throat. She glances at the janitor, who looks just as stunned as I am. "Don't even try to explain. You betrayed me, Laura. In our office, of all places." I spit the words out, each one heavy with the weight of my shattered trust. The janitor shifts uncomfortably, glancing between us like a deer caught in headlights. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he mutters, but I dismiss him with a wave of my hand. "Get out," I hiss, my voice low but laced with venom. He scrambles out of the room, leaving me alone with Laura. Her eyes are wide, glistening with unshed tears. "Mark, please, it's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I challenge, crossing my arms. "Tell me how this isn't what it looks like." She opens her mouth to respond, but the truth hangs heavily in the air. I can't bear to hear her lies anymore. "You know what? I don't want to hear it. I want you to leave." "Mark, don't do this," she pleads, desperation creeping into her voice. "We can fix this." I shake my head, cold determination settling in my chest. "No. You broke it, Laura. And now I'm going to break you." As the words leave my lips, a plan begins to form in my mind. I won't just walk away, I'll make sure she feels the weight of her betrayal. I'll make her regret every moment she spent with him, every lie she fed me. I step back, letting the door close behind me, sealing away the remnants of my old life with her. I'll be filing for divorce. You'll never see me again, I say, my voice unwavering. The glimmer of hope in her eyes fades, replaced by realization of the devastation she's wrought. I turn on my heel, leaving her there, a hollow echo of the life we once shared. As I step out into the bustling office, I feel a strange sense of freedom. The betrayal stings, but it also fuels me. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and I'm just getting started. The following days are a blur of chaos and clarity, each moment punctuated by memories of Laura entwined with the janitor. I go through the motions at work, but my mind is a battlefield, wrestling with anger and betrayal. Friends and colleagues notice the shift in my demeanor, but I brush off their concern with vague responses. "Hey, Mark, you good?" Jake asks one morning as we sip our coffee in the break room. His brow is knit with worry. "You seem off." I offer a tight smile. "Just dealing with some personal stuff." "Right. If you need to talk, I'm here," he says, giving me a supportive clap on the back. But inside, I'm churning with thoughts of revenge. I need to take action, to make Laura feel the consequences of her infidelity. That evening, I sit at my kitchen table, a pad of paper before me. I begin writing a list, each point carefully thought out. Step 1, gather intel. I need to know what Laura's been up to since the breakup, and I have the perfect person to help me. "Hey, Alex," I call, dialing my friend. We've known each other since college, and he's always had a knack for digging up dirt. "I need a favor." "What's up?" he replies, his voice casual but intrigued. "I need you to find out where Laura's been spending her time. I want to know about any new friends, especially male ones." "Sounds like you've got a plan." "I'm in," Alex says, his tone shifting to a more serious note. "But what's the end game here?" I pause, considering my words carefully. I just want her to feel the impact of what she did. I need her to understand that actions have consequences. "Understood. I'll dig around and see what I can find," he says before hanging up. As I set the phone down, a sense of purpose ignites within me. I won't just let her walk away unscathed. I'm determined to unearth the truth behind her lies. Days pass, and my anticipation builds. I keep myself busy with work, putting on a mask of normalcy while secretly plotting my next move. Finally, I receive a call from Alex. "Okay, I have some info for you," he says, his tone conspiratorial. "Laura's been hanging out with some guy named Tom. He works at the local tech firm." "Tom?" I murmur, the name sending a jolt of anger through me. "And what's their deal?" "They've been spotted together a few times, always at the same cafe." "Seems pretty cozy, if you know what I mean," Alex replies. A dark laugh escapes me. "So, she hasn't changed at all. I have to see this for myself." The next day, I take a long lunch break, heading to the cafe Alex mentioned. I find a discreet corner table where I can observe without being noticed. The atmosphere buzzes with conversation, the scent of coffee and pastries filling the air. I scan the room, and my heart sinks as I spot Laura. She's sitting across from Tom, her laughter ringing through the air like a taunt. He leans in close, a smirk on his face as they share a private joke. I can feel the anger boiling beneath my skin, but I force myself to stay calm. This is just data collection, after all. "Looks like they're getting pretty chummy," I whisper to myself, my jaw tightening. As I continue to watch, I notice Laura's hand brush against Tom's arm, a seemingly innocent gesture that feels like a knife to my heart. My mind races with possibilities. Step 2, make her realize what she's lost. I pull out my phone, capturing a few photos of them together. This will be useful for later. Suddenly, I spot Jake entering the cafe. He waves at me, his expression brightening when he sees me. "Hey, Mark. Fancy seeing you here." "Hey, Jake," I reply, forcing a smile. "Just grabbing some coffee." Jake glances at Laura and Tom, his expression shifting to one of concern. "Isn't that your ex-wife?" "Yeah," I say, keeping my tone casual. "No big deal." Jake looks at me, his brow furrowing. "You sure? It seems like." "Let it go, man," I cut him off, waving a hand dismissively. "I'm fine." "Really?" Jake nods but doesn't look convinced. He settles into a chair across from me, his eyes still flicking toward Laura. "You know, if you need someone to talk to." "I appreciate it, but I'm good," I insist, trying to keep my focus. I can't let him see the turmoil within me. As I continue to watch Laura, a sense of determination washes over me. I can't let her get away with this. I'll make her see the consequences of her choices. I lean closer to Jake, changing the subject. "What's the latest gossip at work?" We engage in light conversation, but my mind is elsewhere. I'm plotting, calculating my next move. Step 3. Create a scenario that forces her to confront her betrayal. Once I've gathered enough evidence, I plan to arrange a surprise meeting, a moment where she'll have to face the reality of what she's lost. My heart races at the thought, the thrill of revenge igniting a fire within me. As we finish our coffee, I excuse myself, leaving Jake to his own devices. I feel a sense of exhilaration coursing through me. The game has only just begun, and I'm determined to win. The next few weeks are a whirlwind of planning. I make sure to keep my interactions with Laura minimal, though I can't help but notice how she seems to be spiraling. She calls occasionally, leaving messages filled with regret and pleas for forgiveness, but I ignore them, letting the silence speak volumes. I coordinate with Alex to ensure I have everything in place for my confrontation. I want it to be impactful, a moment she can't easily dismiss. As the day approaches, my heart races with anticipation. Finally, it's time. I send Laura a text, inviting her to meet me under the pretense of discussing our divorce settlement. She responds almost immediately, her eagerness palpable. "I'll be there," she texts. The thrill of the upcoming confrontation sends adrenaline coursing through my veins. This is it. The moment of truth. And I can't wait to see her face when she realizes the weight of her betrayal. The day finally arrives, and I can't shake the feeling of anticipation tinged with adrenaline. I spend the morning pacing my apartment, rehearsing the words I plan to say. Each step feels like a step closer to reclaiming the power she took from me. I can almost feel the weight of her betrayal lifting as I prepare for our meeting. "All right, Mark. Time to make this happen," I mutter to myself, glancing at the clock. It's nearly noon, the designated time for our rendezvous. I take a deep breath, reminding myself of the resolve I've built up over the past weeks. As I arrive at the cafe, I choose a table in the corner, my back against the wall, a perfect vantage point. I order a black coffee, the bitter taste grounding me as I wait. The atmosphere buzzes with chatter, the clinking of cups, and the aroma of fresh pastries, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within me. Finally, I see her walk through the door. Laura looks disheveled, her hair slightly frayed and her eyes carrying shadows of sleepless nights. I can see her scanning the cafe, searching for me. The moment our eyes meet, her expression shifts from uncertainty to relief. "Mark," she calls, making her way over, her heels clicking on the tiled floor. I can feel the anticipation building within me, a whirlwind of emotions waiting to be unleashed. "Laura," I reply coolly, gesturing for her to sit. She does, her hands fidgeting on the table. "I'm glad we could meet," she says, her voice tentative. "I wanted to talk about." "About what?" I cut her off, leaning in closer. "About how you cheated on me with the janitor in our office. Or about how you've been parading around town with some guy named Tom." Her eyes widen, a flicker of shock passing across her face. You know about that? Oh, I know a lot more than you think, I say, my voice low and steady. I've been watching you, Laura. Watching you destroy everything we built together. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. The silence stretches between us, thick with tension. Do you have any idea how humiliating it was to find you like that? I continue, my heart pounding as anger surges within me. In the back room, with him. You were so engrossed in your betrayal that you didn't even care if anyone walked in. I'm sorry, Mark. It was a mistake, she pleads, her voice rising in desperation. I didn't mean for it to happen. I shake my head, disbelief washing over me. A mistake? Is that really what you call it? You've been seeing Tom for weeks, haven't you? She shifts uncomfortably in her seat, avoiding my gaze. It's not what you think. Tom was just a friend. A friend? I scoff, my anger boiling over. You don't touch your friends the way you've been touching him. I saw the way you looked at him. The way you laughed together. It was like I didn't even exist. Her eyes well up with tears, and for a moment, I almost feel a pang of sympathy. But then I remember the pain she caused me, the nights I spent lying awake, wondering what went wrong. Mark, please, she whispers, her voice trembling. I made a terrible choice. I regret it every day. Can we just start over? I'll do anything. Start over. I echo, incredulous. You want to erase what you did? You think it's that easy? As I speak, I pull out my phone, displaying the photos I took of her and Tom at the cafe, caught in intimate moments. This is what you wanted, isn't it? To throw away our life together for some cheap thrills? She gasps, her hands covering her mouth in shock as she stares at the images. Mark, please don't show me that. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I lean back, my heart racing. But it did. And now you need to face the consequences of your actions. Consequences, she whispers, her voice barely audible. What do you want from me? I want you to understand what you've lost, I say, my voice hardening. You thought you could have both, me and your little escapades, but now it's time to wake up. You've lost me for good. Mark, she starts, but I raise my hand to silence her. Enough. I'm filing for divorce, and I won't let you drag this out. You've made your choice. Now I'll make mine. The weight of my words settles between us, the air thick with unresolved tension. She stares at me, disbelief etched on her face. You're serious, aren't you? Absolutely, I reply, my voice steady. And just so you know, I'm going to make sure everyone knows why this marriage is ending. I won't let you play the victim after everything you've done. Mark, please don't do this. You're being cruel, she begs, her voice rising in panic. I'm being realistic, I counter, my resolve unyielding. You brought this upon yourself. Maybe now you'll think twice before you betray someone again. I stand up, leaving her there, frozen in shock. As I walk out of the cafe, I feel a rush of satisfaction mixed with anger. I've laid the groundwork for my retribution, and there's no turning back now. Outside, I take a deep breath, the cool air invigorating me. I feel lighter, almost free. I pull out my phone, scrolling through my contacts until I find Alex's name. I dial, and he picks up almost immediately. Hey, Mark. How did it go? It went better than I expected, I say, a grim smile on my lips. But it's just the beginning. I need your help to make sure she understands the full impact of her choices. Count me in. What do you need? He replies, enthusiasm lacing his tone. I need you to spread the word, about the divorce, about her infidelity. I want her to feel the consequences in every corner of our lives, I say, my voice steady with determination. Consider it done, Alex says, his voice filled with conviction. As I end the call, a sense of power surges through me. The path ahead is clear, and I'm ready to take it. Laura's betrayal may have shattered my trust, but now, I hold the cards. This is my game, and I'm determined to win. The days stretch into weeks, each one filled with whispers of betrayal and the steady drumbeat of my revenge. I can feel the momentum building, the anticipation thickening in the air. Laura's life is about to unravel, and I'm the one holding the strings. I've kept my distance from her, letting the weight of our impending divorce hang over her like a storm cloud. Every day at work, I hear snippets of gossip, my friends and colleagues sharing the latest rumors about my broken marriage. With Alex's help, I've made sure that the truth about her infidelity is seeping into every corner of our social circle. I can see the way people look at her, the whispers that follow her into the break room, the judgment hanging in the air like a palpable fog. One evening, as I'm leaving work, I bump into Jake. "Hey, Mark. Got a minute?" He gestures for me to follow him outside. "Sure," I reply, curious about what he has to say. As we step into the cool evening air, he lowers his voice. "Look, I just wanted to check in. I know things have been tough with Laura. People are talking, and it's not good for her." "Good," I say, my tone cold. "She deserves every bit of it." Jake studies me for a moment, concern etched on his face. "I get that she hurt you, but dragging her through the mud isn't going to make it better for you." "Maybe not, but it'll make me feel better," I shoot back, frustration bubbling to the surface. "You don't understand what she did to me." "Maybe not, but you don't have to stoop to her level," Jake insists, his voice firm. "You're better than this." "Better? I thought I was just getting what I deserve," I say, irritation flaring. "I'm just saying, watch yourself, Mark. Revenge can backfire." I snort, dismissing his words. "I know what I'm doing, Jake. Trust me." That night, I plot my final move, my heart racing with excitement. Step 4, confront them directly. I arrange a meeting with Laura and Tom, one where I can unveil the truth in a way they never expect. The next day, I send Laura a text. "We need to talk. Meet me at the old park at 7 p.m. "Is this about the divorce?" she replies, a hint of desperation creeping into her words. "Just be there," I respond, my heart pounding with anticipation. When the clock strikes 7, I arrive at the park, the setting sun casting long shadows across the grass. I take a deep breath, letting the cool air fill my lungs. Moments later, Laura arrives, her face a mask of confusion. "Mark, what's going on?" she asks, her voice wavering. "Where's Tom?" I demand, my eyes narrowing. "He's not coming," she replies, her tone defensive. "What do you want?" "Want? I want you to see the consequences of your actions," I say, stepping closer. "You think you can cheat on me and walk away scot-free?" "I didn't mean for it to happen, Mark," she pleads, her voice rising in panic. "I've told you I regret it." I shake my head, disbelief flooding through me. "Regret doesn't change what you did. You broke our marriage for a fling." Before she can respond, Tom emerges from the shadows, a smug grin plastered on his face. "I knew you couldn't resist a little drama," he sneers, his arrogance grating on my nerves. "Get lost, Tom," I say, my voice low and dangerous. "Not a chance," he replies, stepping forward, his bravado apparent. "You're just mad because you're the one who got dumped." "Dumped? Hardly. I'm the one walking away with my dignity intact," I retort, feeling the tension crackling in the air. Laura's eyes dart between us, panic rising. "Guys, let's just calm down." "Shut up, Laura." I snap, my anger boiling over. "This isn't about you anymore. This is about him thinking he can waltz into my life and take what's mine." Tom laughs, a mocking sound that drives me further over the edge. "What are you going to do, cry about it?" You're pathetic, Mark. With a surge of adrenaline, I lunge at Tom, shoving him hard. He stumbles back, surprised. What's your problem, man? My problem? You're my problem. I shout, adrenaline coursing through my veins as I prepare for a confrontation. You think you can just have her, huh? You think she's some prize to be won? I advance, fists clenched, the fire of rage igniting in my chest. Back off. Laura screams, stepping between us, her hands raised. This isn't helping. Helping? I laugh bitterly. You think I'm here to help you? You broke my trust, Laura. You broke everything we had. And now you want to play the victim? I made a mistake, okay, she says, tears streaming down her face. Can't you see that? But I can't see past the betrayal. No, I can't. Because your mistake cost me everything. As I turn back to Tom, ready to escalate the confrontation, I notice something glimmering in his hand, a small knife. Panic grips me, but I hold my ground. You really want to do this? Tom taunts, brandishing the blade. You think you can take me on? Put it down, Tom, I say, my voice steady despite the fear. You're not tough. You're just a coward hiding behind a weapon. His eyes narrow, and for a moment, it feels like time freezes. Then, with a sudden movement, he lunges toward me. Instinct takes over as I dodge, grabbing his wrist and twisting, forcing the knife from his hand. It clatters to the ground, and I shove him back, hard. Stay down, I growl, my heart racing. Laura stands frozen, horror etched on her face. Mark, don't. Just walk away. But I can't. Not now. I step toward Tom, rage boiling over. You think you can take everything from me and just walk away? Before I can react, he swings at me, catching me off guard. We grapple, the two of us locked in a struggle, adrenaline fueling our movements. But I'm fueled by something deeper, betrayal, anger, and a need for retribution. Mark. Stop. Laura screams, but I'm too far gone, lost in the heat of the moment. With a swift movement, I push Tom back hard, sending him crashing into a tree. He falls to the ground, dazed. I take a moment to catch my breath, feeling a mix of victory and horror at what I've just done. Get out of my life, I spit at him, my chest heaving. You've already taken enough. Tom groans, scrambling to his feet, his face pale. You're insane, he mutters, staggering away. As I turn back to Laura, I see her face contorted with a mix of fear and disbelief. You've lost your mind, Mark, she shouts, her voice trembling. This isn't you. I step closer, my voice steady but cold. You brought this on yourself. You and him. You made your choices, and now you're going to live with them. Mark, please, she begs, tears spilling down her cheeks. I can't lose you. I love you. But I shake my head, the weight of her betrayal hanging heavily in the air. Love? After everything? You don't get to say that now. Mark, don't do this, she pleads, her voice breaking. We can fix this. I can make it right. No, you can't, I reply, my heart hardened. You've burned every bridge. This is the end for us. As I turn away, leaving her there, I feel an unexpected emptiness wash over me. I'm free from the weight of her betrayal, but the cost has been steep. I walk away, my steps echoing in the silence of the park, knowing I've severed the last ties to a life that no longer exists. Days turn into weeks, and the fallout from that night ripples through our lives. Laura moves out of our shared apartment, and I finally feel a sense of closure. I avoid any interactions with her, opting instead to focus on rebuilding my life. I hear the whispers continue, but I refuse to engage. The damage has been done, and now all I can do is move forward, a new chapter waiting to be written. Yet, as I step into the future, a shadow looms behind me. Betrayal has a way of lingering, but I've learned that retribution, however sweet, can often come at a steep price. And with every step I take, I know the scars of this experience will remain, a reminder of the price of love, betrayal, and the cold heart of revenge.